Hi, so we are going to end our lessons with choosing the appropriate graph. So throughout this unit, we've talked about all the different types of graphs: the bar graph, circle graph, line graph, stem and leaf plot, and the line plot. And throughout all of these, we've talked very briefly about when to use which kind. So let's go into a little bit more depth in that and just kind of have it all in one place. A bar graph is used when you are going to show data in specific categories. Bar graphs do not always have to be numerical data. In fact, most of the time that it is not numeric data, a bar graph is very easily way to display that data. A circle graph shows parts to a whole. Whenever you're trying to compare little things compared to a big thing, that is when that would be used. Another good time to use a circle graph is when you have percents. So if you are trying to deal with data that uses percents, a circle graph is your best bet. And always remember that your circle graph must add up to 100%. Then we've got line graphs. Line graphs are used to show something over time. So when you've got something over an amount of time, a line graph. Stem and leaf plot. Stem and leaf plot is used when you are wanting to order your numeric data, meaning you want to put it in order from least to greatest. That's the best way to use that, is when you want something in order. And line plots. Line plots are really good whenever you have something that occurs more than once in data and you're trying to figure out the mode. This would be a great time to use a line plot because it shows you which one occurs most. Use this knowledge now and try some examples. And it says to explain your reasoning, and we'll just talk about those. All right, a student's test scores and how the scores are spread out. So to me, the best one here would be a line plot. And the reason I would choose a line plot is because it's going to show you each score. It's going to give you the range of the scores and how much they are spread out and how many people used each score. Another one that could work here would be a stem and leaf plot. So I would say either one of those answers there would be acceptable. Okay, number 5, the distance a person travels and drives for a month. Month tells me over time. That means I'm going to use a line graph. Okay. All right. The outcome of rolling a number cube. To me, there's lots of different answers on this one. To me, the one that stands out would be a bar graph. It would show, 1 through 6 and how many times you landed on each. But again, I think that there's a lot of different choices there. As long as you explain it in a reason of why you picked that one, I think that you would be just fine. Same thing like with the line plot. I think a line plot would work well here as well. All right, and then homework problems assigned for each day. So each day compared to a week, that means we're doing a part to a whole. So here I would say a pie or circle graph, because you're going to be comparing each day to the entire week, so you are comparing part to a whole. All right. A nutritionalist wants to use a data display to show the favorite vegetables of the students at a school. Choose an appropriate data for this situation. Explain your reasoning. So since we are doing individual students compared to the entire school, I would say a circle graph. And the reasoning again would be because I'm comparing each student and we want to get a representation of the entire school. All right, this next one. A scientist gathers data about a decaying chemical compound. The results are shown in the scatter plot. Is the data display misleading? So when I look over here, yes, this data is misleading, and the reason why is because of the scale. If you notice, they do not go in any kind of numeric order. They're actually being multiplied, and we don't multiply. We actually need to add. You want to count each line by a certain amount. So because the scale is not in a progressing in the same manner, that means that would not work. It would work if this was 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, or so on. So yes, it is misleading because the scale is not correct. Okay, and what type of data display is appropriate for showing the mode? The mode, remember, that's the one that occurs most often, and here that would be a line plot because it's going to be the graph that shows how many times something occurs in a data set, which is what the exact same thing that mode is.